Right now, 30% of boats listed for sale worldwide will not find a buyer, even after repeated price cuts. While everyone focuses on the bloated catamaran market, something quieter is happening on the monohull side. The most ocean-proven sailboats ever built are sitting at prices the market forgot to update. These 5 boats have crossed oceans, survived storms that sank their modern replacements, and earned 2 mentions in Fortune magazine's list of America's 100 best products. The market is pricing them like they are old. This video argues they are just getting started. In 5th place, the Westsail 32 sets the benchmark for what overbuilt really means in Bluewater circles. Born in the early 1970s, this is the boat that made the phrase solid glass a literal promise, not just a marketing slogan. Every hull left the factory with a hand-laid laminate weighing in at 12 to 15 pounds per square foot, numbers that dwarf the 4 to 6 pounds typical in modern production cruisers. That means 8 to 10 layers of woven roving and chopped strand mat, stacked and saturated until the hull sides approach 3/4 of an inch thick. No core, no foam, no balsa for water to rot, just glass, resin, and time. The Westsail Owners Association keeps the original laminate schedule archived, and marine surveyors still cite it as a reference for what a bulletproof hull looks like. The market, however, has missed the memo. As of mid-2026, brokers are listing Westsail 32s between $75,000 and $115,000, with recent sales clustering from $68,000 to $102,000. Median deals hover around $85,000, and the price spread is surprisingly tight given the age and global footprint of these boats. Listings on the West Coast run 5 to 10% higher than the East, but even the priciest examples rarely break 6 figures unless they have had a full interior refit. In a market where new Bluewater hulls start at $350,000 and up, the Westsail's price leverage is hard to ignore. But that weight comes with a penalty. The wet snail nickname was not given by accident. These boats are slow. Expect 5.5 knots on a passage, not 7. Deck leaks and coreless deck delamination are common survey findings, and many original boats need full rewiring, new tanks, and modern navigation. Yet, the construction argument remains. A Westsail 32 that has been maintained and properly gel-coated can outlast most cord production hulls by decades. The 1973 Time magazine spread cemented the Westsail as the face of the cruising revolution, and 50 years later, the numbers still tell the story. For buyers who value structural certainty over speed, this is the purest entry point in the Bluewater market, one that the current price bands simply do not reflect. Number 4, the Valiant 40, is where the Bluewater market's logic starts to break down. Designed by Bob Perry and launched in the mid-1970s, the Valiant 40 is not just a heavy cruiser, it is a documented ocean race finisher. This hull was the first American production monohull to cross the line at the OSTAR, and multiple units have circumnavigated with solo skippers. That pedigree is not a rumor, it is logged in Royal Ocean Racing Club race records and Perry's own archives. Under the waterline, the Valiant carries a full 2-ton lead keel and a cutter rig designed to balance power with passage-making control. The hull shape, with a long waterline, fine entry, and moderate beam, delivers a passage speed that leaves the Westsail in its wake. On a well-trimmed reach, 7 knots is routine, not wishful thinking. But the Valiant's reputation comes with a warning that every buyer must read. Between hull numbers 120 and 249, the builder switched to a fire-retardant resin, aiming to meet new safety codes. The result was a chemical gamble that backfired, producing osmotic blistering on an industrial scale. Surveyors and owner forums document entire hulls that required full relamination, an ordeal that can run 6 figures and still leave doubts about long-term integrity. That means every Valiant 40 on the market demands serial number scrutiny. Early hulls, numbered 101 to 119, and the later Texas-built boats from 267 onward, are largely free of the resin problem and hold their value accordingly. The rest, brokers will dodge the question or price them to move, but the risk is real and well known in the community. The price bands reflect this split. As of mid-2026, Valiant 40s list between $115,000 and $175,000, with most clean, unaffected hulls closing around $140,000. That's a premium over the Westsail, but the performance and offshore record justify the bump. West Coast examples trend higher, sometimes by 10%, especially for late-model, Texas-built hulls with documented refits. The East Coast market is softer, with some as-is boats dipping toward the low end of the range. It's a narrow window. Buyers who do their homework can acquire a race-proven, structurally sound Valiant for less than half the cost of a new production-line Bluewater cruiser, a boat with decades of offshore miles and a global owner network to back it up. No one should downplay the resin-era risk, but for those willing to verify hull numbers and inspect for blisters, the Valiant 40 offers something modern boats rarely do: a proven history of finishing what others start. In a market where speed, safety, and resale value rarely align, this is the contrarian's pick, if you know exactly what you are buying. Number 3, the Cape Dory 36 is where the numbers and the build logic start to converge in a way the current market has simply failed to price in. Designed by Carl Alberg and produced from the late 1970s through the early 1990s, the Cape Dory 36 was never a boutique yacht. It was a working-class Bluewater cruiser, hand-laid in a single-piece mold with glass thickness approaching a full inch at the turn of the bilge. That is not theoretical overkill. It is documented in builder archives and confirmed by surveyors who still measure original hulls at 12 to 15 pounds of glass per square foot. The deck and coach roof are built to the same standard: solid glass with no core, no balsa, no foam. This is a boat that shrugs off impacts and ignores the creeping core rot that plagues so many modern builds. But the hardware is where the Cape Dory 36 quietly outclasses most of its peers. Every seacock, cleat, and stanchion base left the factory in Spartan bronze, a material choice that resists corrosion for decades, long after stainless steel has started to pit and fail. The critical exception sits at the chainplate brackets. Early hulls, specifically those numbered 70 and below, shipped with stainless brackets glassed into the hull. Over time, especially in saltwater, these brackets can develop hidden corrosion, leading to catastrophic failure under load. The factory addressed this after hull 71, switching to bronze alloy brackets that have proven nearly immune to galvanic attack. For buyers, that means any pre-71 hull demands a chainplate inspection and likely a retrofit. It is a known fix, not a mystery, and the Cape Dory owner community documents the process in detail. Now to the financials. As of mid-2026, Yacht World and Boat Trader listings cluster between $85,000 and $130,000 for Cape Dory 36s in good condition. The median sale price across broker reported deals in the last 2 years sits just under $100,000, with West Coast examples trending about 7% higher than their East Coast counterparts. That puts the Cape Dory 36 squarely in the middle band, well below the Valiant 40's premium, but above the entry-level Westsail. For that price, buyers get a boat with proven circumnavigation records, a hull that can take a pounding, and a hardware spec that outlasts most modern alternatives. The economics are straightforward. A full refit on a Cape Dory 36 is typically less expensive and less invasive than on a cored deck boat, because the solid glass construction eliminates the need for costly recoring or moisture remediation. Most upgrades focus on systems and cosmetics, not structural repairs. There are no free lunches in the used boat market, and the Cape Dory 36 is not immune to age. Expect to find outdated wiring, original fuel tanks that may need replacement, and teak trim that requires regular maintenance. The hull shape, with its full keel and moderate displacement, means passage speeds cap out at 6 to 6.5 knots, not a racer by any stretch. But the trade-off is reliability. Surveyors and owners alike report few structural failures, and the bronze hardware has a documented service life measured in half-centuries. For sailors who want a Bluewater platform that can be refitted without uncovering hidden laminate surprises, the Cape Dory 36 is the practical choice. In a market where newer boats command higher prices for thinner glass and riskier construction, The Cape Dory's blend of affordability, build quality, and limited pathologies makes it the value play that too many buyers are missing. Number 2, the Pacific Seacraft 34 occupies a strange blind spot in today's Bluewater market. It is a William Crelock design with a Fortune magazine pedigree, yet it is still priced like a mid-tier production cruiser. The numbers alone should stop any serious buyer in their tracks. Built from 1987 to 1996, with roughly 150 hulls produced, the Pacific Seacraft 34 carries a 13,500 pounds displacement on a full-length keel, all hand-laid solid fiberglass below the waterline. Factory documentation confirms both the layup schedule and the hull thickness, with additional reinforcement at the bow and transom, details that rarely appear in the glossy sales copy of newer boats. This is the same Crelock lineage that Fortune magazine twice named to its America's 100 Best Products list, a distinction almost unheard of in the marine industry. Yet the current market treats these boats as if they are just another used 34-foot boat. Yacht World listings as of mid-2026 show asking prices spanning $95,000 to $160,000, with most clean examples clustering around $115,000. Boat Trader's database, which skews slightly lower, reports an average listing price of $79,950. That figure is flagged for verification, but even at the higher end, the spread remains well below what the build quality and offshore record would imply. Broker-reported sales from the past 2 years confirm deals closing between $85,000 and $140,000, with the West Coast commanding a 3 to 5% premium. The numbers are consistent. You can buy a documented, Fortune-praised Crelock 34 for less than a third of a new Cord production cruiser of similar size. The construction argument is straightforward. The hull is solid glass, no core, no balsa, no foam below the waterline. The deck is cord, but Pacific Seacraft's execution, with properly sealed penetrations and robust hardware backing, has kept core rot and delamination rates low compared to the industry average. Surveyors and owner forums rarely report the kind of catastrophic deck failures seen in mass-market builds. The ballast is encapsulated lead, not bolted on iron, and the rig is a cutter, giving the boat both balance and flexibility offshore. The owner network remains active, with factory archivists able to confirm original layup and issue documentation for insurance or survey purposes. But the Pacific Seacraft 34 is not a miracle worker. Interior volume is tight by modern standards. This is a passage boat, not a floating condo. Storage is optimized for long-term cruising, not for entertaining at the dock. The cockpit is deep and secure, but small. The trade-off is safety at sea, not space for a crowd. Some buyers may balk at the price per foot calculation, especially when comparing to newer boats with more amenities and lighter displacement. And while the cord deck has aged better than most, any 30-year-old boat can hide moisture, so a thorough survey remains non-negotiable. Still, the value proposition is hard to dispute. For a buyer who wants a manageable Bluewater hull with a documented offshore record, a build pedigree that Fortune magazine saw fit to celebrate, and a pricing window that has not yet caught up to reality, the Pacific Seacraft 34 is the contrarian's outlier. The market inefficiency is clear, a boat that should command a premium, but instead sits in the shadow of both cheaper and flashier models. In a market where construction shortcuts have become the norm, this is one of the last remaining passage machines that still delivers what the spec sheet promises, at a price the market has failed to adjust. And finally, in first place, the Hallberg-Rassy 34 stands as the Scandinavian benchmark for offshore pedigree, at a price point that, for now, defies its build standard. Every hull from 1990 to 2005 production run carries Lloyd's Register certification, a level of oversight that most modern production boats can only gesture toward with a CE sticker. This is not a paper exercise. Lloyd's inspectors were present during layup, verifying laminate schedules and resin content. The result is a hand-laminated hull, polyester glass with a structural grid, and a deck that meets CE Category A, ocean capable by European law, not just by marketing copy. The designer, German Frers, delivered a hull form that balances a fine entry with enough beam aft for real passage speed. This is a boat that shrugs off North Sea chop and still clocks 6.5 to 7 knots on a long reach, with a rig and sail plan that can be handled by a couple in heavy weather. The numbers tell a story the market is refusing to price in. As of mid-2026, YachtWorld and Boats.com listings cluster Hallberg-Rassy 34s between $140,000 and $210,000, with the median sold price from broker data sitting near $170,000. A handful of outliers, full refits, new electronics, and custom teak interiors have breached $220,000, but these are exceptions, not the rule. The vast majority of listings, including those in the Nordic and UK markets, remain below the historic norm for Lloyd's certified, Frears-designed Bluewater hulls. That is a window of opportunity, but it comes with a caveat. These price bands must be verified live before any buyer moves. The Hallberg-Rassy brokerage and owner forums warn that listings can swing by $20,000 or more in a matter of weeks, especially as unsold inventory in other segments pushes more buyers back toward proven offshore models. If the current ask holds, the value is real. If not, the window will close fast. The construction argument is not theoretical. The hull is hand-laid, not chopper-gunned or infused on a clock. The deck is cored, but with end-grain balsa that is vacuum-bagged and meticulously sealed at every penetration, a process documented in the factory's own archives and confirmed by surveyor reports. Failures are rare, and when they do occur, they are typically the result of owner modifications, not original build lapses. The ballast is encapsulated lead, not bolted on iron, and the steering is direct, with a robust quadrant and linkage. Factory quality control is a recurring theme in owner surveys. Wiring looms are labeled and routed, plumbing is double-clamped, and every through hull is bronze. This is a level of detail that production line builders abandoned years ago in pursuit of faster cycle times and thinner glass. But the premium comes with honest downsides. Teak decks, standard on many Hallberg-Rassy 34s, are a maintenance liability. Replacement can run $30,000 or more, and aging decks can hide moisture that is expensive to remediate. Some owners report condensation issues in colder climates due to the insulation properties of the cored deck. Interior volume, while generous for a 34-footer, does not match the floating condo layouts of today's beamier hulls, and the price, even at a discount, is still double or triple that of a Westsail or Cape Dory. For buyers who want to anchor in the Caribbean for a season, these are real trade-offs. Yet the core logic remains. No other boat in this market window combines Lloyd's and CE certification, a Frears hull, and a documented offshore record at a price that, for the moment, sits below its historic average. The urgency is real. Brokers and data feeds confirm that Hallberg-Rassy 34s are spending less time on the market as buyers recalibrate away from new production and toward proven glass. The only rational move is to verify every live listing, demand documentation, and strike before the market corrects. In a segment where structural pedigree and resale durability matter. More than showroom gloss, the Hallberg-Rassy 34 is the final proof that old glass logic still outlasts modern compromise if you move before the rest of the market catches up. Across all 5 boats, one pattern is undeniable. The market has mispriced structural logic. These are not relics. They are assets built with materials and methods that modern production cannot replicate at today's price points. Every data point says the depreciation curve is wrong. For buyers who follow the numbers, opportunity is not in the showroom. It is hiding in brokerage listings. The smart money knows proven glass outlasts marketing hype. Which would you trust offshore?